Cryptocurrency lender BlockFi has filed for bankruptcy only weeks after more than 100 FTX companies also failed. BlockFi and 8 of its affiliates filed for bankruptcy earlier today. It is the latest major digital assets company to go bankrupt since the collapse of FTX in mid-November. FTX had once been one of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchanges. Teddy Schleifer joins me now. He covers Silicon Valley for Puck News. Teddy, huge news out of the crypto world today. Can you talk to us about not just the collapse of FTX and its impact on the failure of BlockFi, but just broadly, how have the global markets been impacted in this just fallout that so many companies have? We've seen them fail over and over, and also for consumers worldwide who relied on crypto.
Sure. I mean, if you thought that this was going to be, one company falls and, a one-day story, wonder what you were smoking early in November. I mean, look, this is a company that has been deeply embedded, in the broader ecosystem. I mean, FTX was buying other companies. FTX was investing in other companies. Sam Bankman-Fried personally was doing lots of playing a leadership role in the kind of broader industry here. So, I don't think this will be the last, right? BlockFi or frankly, any other company that had intertwined financial relationship with FTX, there should be a flashing red siren going off in HQ of anybody that has any affiliations with kind of the company formerly known as FTX, because at this point, everyone should be on guard. It's as if JP Morgan collapsed, right? It's not, it affects a company broader than JP Morgan. This is sort of the plumbing of an entire industry.
So there is certainly that ripple effect, and we'll continue feeling it. But one thing that I was curious about, I was reading from Bahamian officials who are kind of pushing back that somehow the law there would be easier on Sam Bankman-Fried. The company is headquartered there in the Bahamas. Does the fact that Bahama officials are involved in the case potentially, shield the company from any legal scrutiny in the U.S.?
Sure. So I mean, to begin with, there's the question of kind of Sam personally, right? I mean, it's not a coincidence that he's not in the United States right now. His family, I know, is now in FTX with him, kind of providing him counsel. He's doing this public appearance later this week at the DealBook conference in New York. I do not know if he'll be in person. I kind of doubt he will be. So there's kind of the question of what happens to Sam personally. But right, as a company, I mean, this was a company that was originally headquartered in Hong Kong. They went to the Bahamas specifically for this reason, specifically because, not obviously for the reason of the collapse of their company, but just to have a broader, more kind of crypto-friendly regulatory structure. And, part of that is that he is not outside the United States. And look, I mean, it's going to come down to kind of the political relationships between FTX and U.S. authorities. Certainly from a legal standpoint, these are lawsuits now against a non-U.S. company, which is going to impact everything from bankruptcy filings to kind of whether or not regular Joes can get their money back. Ultimately, this is not an American company, and I don't think we should lose sight of that.
Wow, so there is a difference there. Speaking of Sam Bankman-Fried's political alliances, he is one of the biggest donors in U.S. politics, especially to Democrats. What can you tell me about the impact that this fallout has had or can have, and the collapse of FTX itself on politics?
Yeah, so there is the impact of the money that was going to be spent today, and then there's kind of the impact of the money that was going to be spent over the next 50 years. We here at Puck have been writing a ton about sort of the what could have been, right? Sam Bankman-Fried was obviously only 30 years old. For instance, and he was talking, for instance, about a 50-year campaign for influence in Democratic politics, so much so that we here at Puck wrote a story last week about a new initiative Sam was trying to start called the Center for the Future. The name sort of tells you all. He was thinking about a 50-year campaign where he was going to solve all of the world's problems, from climate change to nuclear proliferation to education, yada, yada, yada. And he was positioned to be the guy. He was out there buying Democratic technology startups, a startup called Deck that we reported that Sam Bankman-Fried personally bought. I've been covering campaign finance for a long time. You don't see donors do this sort of stuff. So I think Sam was a big donor today. You're correct. But the loss, the sense that people almost talk about this as like a tragedy for the left is because of what he was planning to do, over the next 50 years.
And that
Obviously,
mindset, mindset or that theory that the richer I get, the more I can solve the world's problems. Hence, I should be the richest. I wonder how long that theory will last.
Yeah, look, I mean, I can't get inside the guy's head, but there are certainly some people who think this sort of proves the entire problem with what Sam calls earning to give, right? That if you are earning as much money as possible in order to give away as much money as possible, that sort of makes you not have to think that hardly about the earn process. And like, does that mean you could defraud customers, right? If you're earning to give, like, could you make up, the good on the other side of the equation? That is certainly a critique that could be leveled right now, because clearly Sam earned a lot. Does that mean that you can, earn it by any means necessary? That's the debate happening right now in my world.
Well, certainly not in this legal system. Teddy Schleifer, thank you.
You bet.